She said, "I'm keeping the apartment. You move out. I like it here." After I confronted her about cheating, it was my apartment, my name alone on the lease. I said, "I'll start packing." Then I packed her stuff instead, changed the locks, and left it all in the hallway. When she came home from her business trip, original post, I, 29 male, have been with my girlfriend for 2 years and 4 months. She moved into my apartment about 14 months ago. Keyword, my apartment. I've had this place for 5 years. My name is the only one on the lease. I pay the rent, $1,847 a month, directly from my account. She was supposed to contribute $600 monthly toward utilities and groceries, which she did for maybe the first 6 months before it became sporadic. Last Tuesday, I found out she's been cheating on me. How? She left her iPad at home, and it was synced to her phone. I wasn't snooping. A message notification popped up while I was moving it off the couch to sit down. The preview showed enough. I looked. I know some people think that's wrong, but I'm not going to apologize for it. The messages went back 3 months. A co-worker. Detailed conversations about meetups, hotel rooms, what they wanted to do to each other. Pictures I wish I could unsee. And the kicker, multiple references to her business trips that were actually weekends with him. She'd had 4 of those trips in the past 3 months. I'd driven her to the airport twice. She wasn't at the airport. I drove her to a parking garage where she left her car, then Ubered to whatever hotel they were using. I figured that part out from the messages too. I spent about 2 hours reading everything. Then I sat in the dark for another hour just processing. By the time she got home from work, I was calm. Scary calm, apparently, because she immediately asked what was wrong. I showed her the iPad. Asked her to explain. She didn't even try to deny it. Just sighed like I was being dramatic and said, "I was going to tell you eventually. It just happened." 3 months of detailed planning is not just happened, but okay. Then came the conversation that made me write this post. I said we were done and she needed to move out. She laughed. Actually laughed. Then she said, "I'm not going anywhere. I like this apartment. I made it a home. You should move out if you can't handle this." I stared at her. This is my apartment, my lease, my name. So, I live here too. I have tenant rights. You can't just kick me out. I said, "We'll see about that." She rolled her eyes. "Whatever. I have a business trip this weekend anyway. We can talk when I get back and figure out how to make this work. Maybe we can try couples therapy or something." The audacity. She was literally going to spend the weekend with the guy she'd been sleeping with and then come back and suggest therapy. I said, "Sure. I'll start packing." She smiled like she'd won something. "Good. I think that's the mature choice. I'll help you look for a new place when I get back." She left Friday morning. Gave me a kiss on the cheek like everything was normal. Said she'd be back Sunday night. The second her Uber pulled away, I started packing. Her stuff. Update 1. Okay, so a lot happened and I need to break it down. Friday morning after she left, I called my landlord. Explained the situation. Girlfriend had been living with me. Relationship ended. I needed her out. He confirmed what I already knew. She was never added to the lease. She had no legal standing as a tenant since she'd never established formal residency. No mail in her name sent here. Utilities all in my name. Nothing official. She was essentially a long-term guest. He said I was within my rights to ask her to leave and that he'd support whatever I needed to do. Good landlord. We've had a solid relationship for 5 years. Then I got to work. I was methodical about it. Separated everything clearly hers from everything clearly mine. Her clothes, shoes, makeup, toiletries, packed in her own suitcases and the boxes she'd originally moved in with. Her books, her weird decorative pillows she insisted on, her collection of those expensive candles, her yoga mat, her kitchen gadgets she'd brought, all of it. Anything that was a gift to her or purchased by her went in the pile. Anything that was mine, that I'd bought, that was here before her stayed. I was fair about it. There were some things we'd bought together, like a set of pots and pans. I gave her the better ones. A few picture frames with photos of us. I took the photos out and gave her the frames. The TV in the bedroom was hers. I disconnected it and packed it carefully. By Saturday afternoon, I had 17 boxes, 3 suitcases, and 2 garbage bags of clothes neatly stacked in my living room. Then I called a locksmith. Had all the locks changed. Cost me $340 for new deadbolt and door handle, but worth every penny. Got 4 copies of the new key. One for me, one for my landlord, two spares. Saturday evening, I moved everything into the hallway outside my apartment. Not thrown, not scattered, placed neatly against the wall so it wasn't blocking the corridor. I didn't want to give her any ammunition for claiming I destroyed her property. Then I texted her, "Your stuff is in the hallway. Locks are changed. Don't come back." She didn't respond for about 6 hours. Then what? This isn't funny. We agreed you were moving out. I replied, "We didn't agree to anything. I said I'd start packing. I did. Yours. You can't do this. I have rights. You have the right to collect your belongings from the hallway before the building manager moves them to storage. That's about it. I'm calling the police." "Go ahead." She did. Sunday afternoon, I got a knock on my door. 2 officers. They were professional, asked to hear my side. I showed them my lease, showed them utilities in my name, explained she'd never been formally added as a tenant, showed them texts where she'd admitted to cheating and told me to move out of my own apartment. One of the officers, older guy, looked tired, just sighed. "Sir, this is a civil matter. She's not on the lease. No evidence she established tenancy. You're within your rights." He turned to his partner. "Let's go." That was it. My ex showed up about 2 hours later. I watched through the peephole. She stood in the hallway staring at her stuff like she couldn't process what she was seeing. Then she started banging on the door. "Open this door right now. You can't do this to me. I live here." I didn't respond. "I know you're in there. This is illegal. I'm going to sue you." Still nothing. She banged for maybe 15 minutes. A neighbor came out and asked her to stop. She screamed at him that this was none of his business. He said he was calling building security. She screamed some more. Eventually, she started loading her stuff into her car. Took her about an hour and a half. She had to make multiple trips to the parking garage. I watched some of it from my window. She was crying by the end. Part of me felt something. A small part. Then she was gone. I thought that might be the end of it. It was not. Update 2. So, where to begin? After she cleared out her stuff on Sunday, I figured I'd get some angry messages and then she'd move on. Maybe crash with the guy she'd been cheating with. Maybe go to her parents' place. Whatever. Not my problem anymore. Monday morning, I get a call from my building manager. Apparently, she'd been to the leasing office first thing, claiming I'd illegally evicted her, and demanding they let her back into the apartment. The manager told her she wasn't on any lease and there was nothing they could do. She apparently made a scene, yelling, crying, threatening to call her lawyer. She doesn't have a lawyer. I know this because she used to complain about not being able to afford one when she was dealing with an old parking ticket. Tuesday, she showed up at my job. I work in an engineering firm. Corporate office, badge access, the whole thing. She couldn't get past the lobby, but she tried. Told the front desk she was my wife, and there was a family emergency. They called up to my desk. I told them I wasn't married and to please ask her to leave. Security escorted her out. My supervisor pulled me aside afterward and asked if everything was okay. I gave him the brief version. Bad breakup. She's not handling it well. Won't happen again. He was understanding, but I could tell he wasn't thrilled about personal drama at the office. That night, she started the text campaign. New number, since I'd blocked her old one. 12 messages between 8 p.m. and midnight. "You humiliated me. I had to sleep in my car Sunday night. I hope you're happy. Everyone is going to know what kind of person you are. You're going to regret this. My mom says you committed a crime, and we're looking into pressing charges. And my personal favorite, the guy I was seeing, he's done with me now too because of all this drama you caused. You ruined 2 relationships." I screenshot everything, blocked the new number, and didn't respond. Wednesday, her mother called me. From her phone, so it came through before I could block it. "You need to let my daughter back into that apartment. She has nowhere to go. This is cruel and unusual." I said, "Ma'am, with respect, your daughter cheated on me for 3 months and then told me to move out of my own home. She can stay with you. She can't stay here. We don't have room. That's not my problem. Young man, I will make this your problem. I know people. My brother-in-law is a retired police sergeant. Cool. Have him call me." I hung up. Thursday, I got a letter. Like actual physical mail. Handwritten. From her. It was 3 pages long. The gist: she was sorry for how things escalated. She never meant for any of this to happen. She was going through something when the affair started. She knows she made mistakes, but I had made mistakes too by abandoning her. And couldn't we work something out? Maybe she could stay in the apartment for just one more month while she figured things out. She'd pay rent. She'd stay out of my way. We didn't even have to talk. The letter ended with, "I know you still love me. You wouldn't have been so angry if you didn't." That's something to build on. Incredible. Truly incredible. I didn't respond to the letter either. Friday, and this is where it gets interesting. I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I answered because it had a local area code, and I was expecting a call back from my dentist. It was him, the guy she'd been cheating with. "Hey, is this my name?" This is awkward. "I was seeing your girlfriend." "Ex-girlfriend, I guess." I almost laughed. "Yeah, I know who you are. What do you want?" "She's been staying at my place since Sunday. She showed up saying it was temporary, just until she found something else. But she's a lot. She's talking about moving in permanently. She told my roommate that I was going to propose soon. We've been hooking up for 3 months. I barely know her. Sounds like a you problem." "I'm not trying to make it your problem. I just wanted to give you a heads up. She's telling people you were abusive, that you hit her, and that's why she was seeing me, to escape." My blood went cold. "What?" "Yeah. She's been posting about it online, calling friends, telling everyone who'll listen. I don't know what actually happened, but I was there, you know? I saw the messages. She was into me, not escaping anything. So I figured you should know what she's saying." I thanked him. Genuinely. That was actually decent of him. After I hung up, I went online. Found her posts. 3 of them, on different platforms, all telling a story about how her emotionally abusive ex had thrown her out on the street with nothing because she tried to leave him. No mention of the cheating. No mention that it was my apartment. Just painting herself as a victim fleeing domestic violence. One post had 60-something comments, mostly supportive. A few people I recognized, mutual friends, her co-workers, all believing every word. This is the part where being a man in this situation sucks. Accusations like that stick. Even when they're proven false, they linger. People remember the accusation, not the correction. I could have responded publicly, defended myself. But I know how that looks. Guy protesting too much, must be hiding something. Instead, I did something smarter. Final update. I hired a lawyer. Not to sue her, though he said I probably had ground for defamation. But realistically, she doesn't have money worth going after, and a lawsuit would just drag this out for months or years. Instead, I had him send a formal cease and desist letter documenting her false statements about abuse, her harassment at my workplace, her false claims to the leasing office, and her continued attempts to contact me after being told to stop. The letter made clear that if she continued making false statements, particularly the abuse allegations, I would pursue legal action and subpoena the affair partner as a witness. It also noted that I had preserved all evidence, including her own messages admitting to the affair and telling me to move out of my own apartment. She got the letter on a Monday. By Wednesday, every public post about me was deleted. But here's the thing about the internet. Screenshots are forever. And I wasn't the only one who took them. One of our mutual friends, someone I'd been genuinely close with before dating my ex, reached out to me after seeing the posts. She'd known something was off about the story and had done some digging. Found my ex's original social media post from months ago bragging about her work trips with photos clearly not from any business conference. Found comments she'd made about how her boyfriend was boring and she needed excitement. This friend started quietly sharing the truth with our mutual social circle. Not dramatically, not with a big call-out post, just one-on-one conversations. "Hey, I know what she's been saying, but here's what actually happened. I saw the evidence." Within 2 weeks, the narrative had shifted. People who'd been commenting support on her abuse victim posts were now distancing themselves. A few even reached out to apologize to me for believing her initially. Her co-worker, the affair partner, apparently broke things off completely after the cease and desist mentioned him as a potential witness. He wanted nothing to do with any legal situation. Last I heard through the grapevine, she'd had to move in with her mother after all, despite there not being room. The final piece of justice came from the most unexpected place, my landlord. He called me about 2 weeks after everything settled down. Said she tried one more time to get into the building. Showed up claiming she'd left something valuable in the apartment and needed to get it. Security turned her away, obviously, but the landlord was done. He said he was documenting everything in case she tried anything else. And then he mentioned something I hadn't known. Apparently, when she'd first moved in with me, she'd been rude to the building staff multiple times. Complained about noise, demanded maintenance for things that weren't issues, talked down to the cleaning crew. They'd all noticed. They'd all remembered. "I'll be honest with you," he said. "When you first called about this situation, I thought maybe it was a messy breakup and both sides had a point. Then I talked to my staff. Nobody here liked her. Everyone's relieved she's gone." I laughed for the first time in weeks. So that's where things stand now. I'm not going to pretend I'm totally fine. 2 years with someone, thinking you're building something, finding out it was all a lie. That messes with you. I've been sleeping badly. I look at the empty spaces where her stuff used to be, and I feel something. Not missing her exactly, missing who I thought she was. But I'm okay. My apartment is mine again. Quiet. Clean. I rearranged the furniture so it looks different, feels different. Bought a new plant. One of those rubber tree things that's supposed to be impossible to kill. We'll see. My friends have been solid. The ones who matter, anyway. A few people chose her side, and I let them go without a fight. If they believe her abuse claims without even asking me, they weren't real friends to begin with. My coworker who witnessed the lobby incident bought me a beer after work and said, "Dude, that was the most dramatic thing that's ever happened at this company. You're a legend." Not the reputation I wanted, but I'll take it. As for her, I genuinely don't know what she's doing now, and I genuinely don't care. Her stuff is gone. Her key doesn't work. Her lies got exposed. Whatever comes next for her is her own problem. Someone asked me in the comments of my first post if I felt guilty about how I handled this. Packing her stuff, changing the locks, leaving it all in the hallway while she was off with her affair partner. No, I don't. She cheated on me for 3 months. Looked me in the eyes, kissed me goodbye, and went to hotels with someone else. When I found out and said we were done, she laughed and told me to leave my apartment because SHE liked it there. Then she tried to turn everyone against me with lies. I didn't do anything illegal. I didn't do anything violent. I didn't destroy her stuff or blast her publicly or try to ruin her life. I just refused to let her walk all over me. I enforced boundaries. I protected myself. Some people would call that cold. I call it self-respect. The funniest part of all of this? About a week ago, I was cleaning out a drawer and found one of her hair ties. Just a plain black elastic, the kind you can buy in packs of 50. I stared at it for a second, this tiny artifact of someone who used to share my space, and then I threw it away. That's it. That's the whole metaphor. She's a hair tie in the trash now. Meaningless. Gone. I'm going to be fine.